Kentucky Supreme Court decision is reshaping who runs some of the state's biggest events. David Beck was removed as president and CEO of the Kentucky State Fair Board by Governor Andy Beshear. The change comes after the Kentucky Supreme Court struck down a GOP-backed law that shifted Fair Board appointments from the governor to the state agriculture commissioner, ruling it violated the separation of powers.
The person who heads that board and runs that operation has to be willing to be accountable to me and work with me and the various board members, and the individual that is no longer there led a charge to prevent any form of accountability from a governor, was not willing to work with me, and made that pretty clear.
Former Kentucky Derby Festival President Mike Berry was named the interim leader. The Kentucky State Fair in Louisville begins August 20th. Jared, start with you. Governor Beshear has made it a habit of reorganizing boards and commissions. Is that unique to him, or is this or to this administration?
Actually, it's not really. It's unique to when in Kentucky the governor's office shifts from one political party to the other. For the longest time, it was within one party, and now that you see him starting to shift back and forth, usually, you know, if this switches parties, new guy comes in and gets rid of all the other guys' old board appointments. So it's not just unique to the current governor. This has been happening since they've started trading the executive mansion back and forth. But here, what is unique is the governor is waiting until what I would say, my very limited law school legal, is that he's waiting until he actually has damages when they pass the law. He probably thought the law was unconstitutional when they passed it. He's waiting until he had damages, waiting for it to work through the court system, and now he moved quickly after the court hearing. I think that if there is the McConnell replacement, I think you're going to see the governor then do what Trey alluded to at the beginning of the show. Now he has the opportunity to do something. He's going to do it how he feels it should be done. And then another lawsuit will happen.
Trey, is this different?
I think Andy Beshear has proven himself to be a out-and-out liar and gaslighter in this entire situation. Nothing that he has said has been factual. He came out, State Representative Ryan Bivens showed when this change was originally made. If you know anything about state government, it takes forever to change state websites. The change to the Fair Board website was made immediately. Not only did it change out the names of the board members, it changed out the mission statement of the Fair Board, and it removed any reference to agriculture. State Representative Ryan Bivens had a screen cap of that, put it up very angry online. The governor came out the next day and said, that's a lie, and there's liars spreading these lies because they went back overnight and reverted the change on the Fair Board. They did do it. It did happen. In fact, the governor said that's a website that we don't even know if it's affiliated with the Fair Board. It's the Kentucky Ventures website. It's their website. So he lied about that. He's also lying about what happened with David Beck. David Beck came out in an interview finally, and David Beck is a nice man. He is a classy man. He is a nonpartisan man. He is a Republican, yes. He works with everybody. David Beck came out this week and said, I was brought in the governor's office and given two choices, resign or be fired. Andy Beshear is saying, well, he made it clear he didn't want to work with me. BS. You gave the man two choices, resign or be fired. That's not saying, will you work with me? He gave him no choices. Not only that, but the effective date of the court ruling doesn't take place for another 2 weeks. Andy Beshear jumped the gun. If I were David Beck, and if he were a meaner, more petty man, he could countersue and say he was let go prematurely. Andy Beshear is gaslighting the Commonwealth of Kentucky, and he has lied at every step of this operation. It's embarrassing. He should be embarrassed by himself.
I do want to say one thing, and it goes back to Representative Bivens. That man is on the national stage when it comes to ag in this country. Representative Bivens is the most farmingest farmer I've ever met. I mean that in high praise. And,
you're a city boy. So.
Yeah, I am a city boy. But Representative Bivens has an impeccable reputation when it comes to ag, and he was right to flag the agriculture gap and take it out.
Jared, Democrats have been pretty silent on this issue. Why?
I don't know if it goes back to the culture of the Fair Board being the ag commissioner, and the ag commissioner always usually being a Republican. You know, I don't know if, you know, Democrats don't, can't remember last ag commissioner, maybe Ed Loxton was a Democrat. So like, you know, that we kind of like, that's their thing. I'm not going to pretend I'm the best farmer. I don't know anything about farming. I'm going to listen to Ryan Bivens tell me what to do about farming, you know, so.
Trey, about 15, 30 seconds left. Tell me your very succinct final thoughts.
Again, I think the governor has been embarrassing in the situation. David Beck is admired by people from the right and left. He's done a good job running the Fair Board. He had announced his retirement. It's not like he had to shove him out the door. He was leaving. Andy Beshear has covered himself in embarrassment here. He should be embarrassed.